Hello and a warm welcome. So we come to the part 2 of why past life regression therapy. Yesterday I had posted a video on whether past life exists or they don't exist and what is their therapeutic importance. Today I want to talk about the fact that why do we use the word regression? What does the word regression mean? Regress simply means to go back in time. Okay, and people feel they have this attitude that you have to actually induce a process of going back in time, and it has to be basically a guided process by which you can step by step keep going back in time. But think of it this way: we regress all the time, we go back in time all the time. Right now, before this video, probably you were thinking of what you ate last night for dinner. And if I ask you to go back, when was the last time you did your shopping? When was the last time you got milk for the house? Suddenly you are smelling a food and you're reminded of the first time or of earlier times when you have smelled the food. Suddenly you are moving through the road and you get a certain kind of scent, and then you're reminded that, oh, I had got that scent earlier as well in another place. I always give this example that when I was in school, I used to love chow mein on the way. And right now, I mean, in Delhi, I live in CR Park, and whenever I'm moving through this place called Market 2, so the smell of chow mein comes, and I'm suddenly taken back to the time back in my childhood, when I used to pass from school to home, and then there was this little restaurant, very quaint, and how the smell of chow mein was so familiar, and what kind of clothes I wear at that point of time, how I felt at that point of time, how I held my mother's hand, how far was my house from the school, how we walked. All of those things come back to me. Did I require any thought to go back there? I did not require thought. I simply required a stimulus, the smell, and the smell bypassed my thought and went right to my feeling and took me back in time to an experience which I had back in childhood. There could be other incidences also related to that experience, but this particular smell took me there. What I'm trying to say that we regress all the time, we move back in time all the time. So the question is, why do we move back? Why do we not move forward? The forward is not available to us at this moment. Proponents of quantum theory and quantum physics will tell you that probably there is no time, and probably past, present, future works together, is present simultaneously. I know it's a bit confusing, but past, present, and future are all happening simultaneously. Now, the point is, where is it happening simultaneously? Right now, I have this physical body, okay? And my physical body can experience time or the illusion of time only in a linear manner, because my physical body has grown from a young baby to this present day body, to an adult, and will grow to probably an older person, and will decay and will go away in death. That's the whole process. So we experience the movement of time or the illusion of time in a linear fashion, okay? And because of that, we can only experience what has happened to this body, what has happened to us at the body level, at the emotional level, at the soul level, whatever has happened to us in the past. That's why we say past, present, and future, right? Because we experience time at a linear level, and therefore every experience that we have been through will find its manifestation somehow or the other. If we have felt sad, and if we have stored that sadness in the experience, in the event, then our body will carry it forward. If we have felt great amount of phobia and fear, it will carry it in the form of phobia and fear. Similarly, like the smell that I had of the chow mein, the noodles, and it carried it forward without my knowledge, without my conscious understanding that, oh, I was really carrying the smell until I smelled it, right? It's the same with traumas. You may not be aware of traumas in your body. You may not be aware of things in your body that are disrupting you at a deep physical level. Sometimes these disruptive elements also come from way back in the past. And that's where we call past life regression therapy, because we may not even have a pure recollection of the fact that it has happened. What we may have recollection of is smaller instances, like how I feel. If I am feeling angry every time a person is shouting at me, or every time a person is roaming around me and I'm feeling very irritated, in a regression session, I may actually see that there are lots of people shouting at me, and I am sort of a victim, or I am a prisoner, and I'm not able to express my anger. And that's what finds expression in your current life. So what I'm trying to say is, you may not have pure recollection of the exact story, but you will have recollection of certain instances which you find similar to your current day life. The idea is to allow people to move through those experiences and move through those episodes. Why? Because if we don't allow them to move through those episodes and experiences, they remain unprocessed in us, in our mind, in our body. And you already know, anything that is unprocessed will keep on repeating itself in different manner. Everything that is unprocessed in us, in the body, will find something called patterns. That's why patterns exist in life, right? So similarly, if that remains unfinished, if that remains unprocessed, and if we don't move through it, then it will keep appearing in some form or the other. That's why we always say that we carry the past on our back. Now, people may argue that whether past life exists or doesn't exist. So I come back to this statement again, that it doesn't concern me. You know, one of our teachers used to tell us, and he's of course a brilliant teacher. He would tell us that you are living by the side of a river, and you pick up one bucket of the river water, and then you wash yourself with it, you bathe yourself with it. And then the next day you go to the river again and you pick up another bucket of water, and then you bathe yourself again with that water. Now tell me, are the two buckets of water same or are they different? He would say that. And the answer is both. They are same because the essence is same. Because of course at a molecular level it's H2O, and they are different because the molecules are different. The ones that have flown into the first bucket are not the same the ones that have flown into the second bucket, right? These are collected over different periods of time again. So it's a time element, because of which there is movement of water, and because of which there is difference in the different times, yesterday and today, and therefore there is difference in the water as well. What I mean to say is, our entire soul, this soul that belongs to me, also comes from a higher source, and at the higher source the essence is the same. This soul that comes down in this body carries that essence and comes for this experience in this life, okay? Which means reincarnation may not be a possibility. For example, I, exactly as Gaurav, may not be born again, but certainly Gaurav's essence, as in Gaurav's desires, Gaurav's wishes, hopes, aspirations, belief systems, ideas, notions, perceptions, point of views, will come together in one mesh and will be born. So even if this particular being may not replicate itself in its exactness, certainly the essence of this is going to come back. So reincarnation, incarnate may not be a possibility, but rebirth is certainly a possibility. And therefore, this is the reason why we carry the memory of it. I will of course come back in my next video, and I'll talk about karma, and what is the relation between karma and memory. But this is how we carry forward the memory, and the memory is nowhere else, by the way. It's in your body itself. Your body is like a huge library. It carries everything across time and space, and we don't even know what it carries. In a session of regression, our idea is to go to that library, find the right book which is causing the problem, pull out the right book, read the story, rather relive the story. We allow the client to relive it. We relive the story, we end the story, and then we put the book away, telling that reading of this book is over. This story is over. let's not ponder about it now anymore. So we allow the client to experience it simply because it needs to be over. If it is not over, it will keep repeating itself. That's the reason it's showing up in the form of bodily symptoms, an unexplained ache, an unexplained illness, an unexplained pattern of relationships, an unexplained problem of the eyes, unexplained skin eruptions that keep coming up without any physiological reason, or without any pathological marker. Why does it keep coming up? Because there are certain memories that the body contains, that the body is trying to express itself. And one of our very, very good colleague, she had spoken about how the body is always honest. You may not be honest, but your body is definitely going to be honest. Even if you don't tell the truth, even if you don't tell the secret, your body will try to tell in some form or the other. And that's where the body brings up these unresolved memories from whatever timeline, and it tries to express itself. While in regression therapy, what we do is we use certain kinds of procedures, certain methods, in order to guide the client to that particular book in that particular library where all the information is stored. That's why it's called past life regression therapy, because therapy simply means like we are bringing together few procedures, few methods, a journey basically. So otherwise we regress all the time. There is no difference between regression and regressing back in time and thinking and ruminating about the past. But when we use it in terms of therapy, then it becomes different, because then we are using a lot of procedures, a lot of methods, a lot of journey. That's what we do. So I hope this gives you clarity about why we do past life regression therapy. And if you have any questions, you can certainly get back to me. I will come up with more videos on past life regression therapy, the science, philosophy, and the logic of it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks a lot.